during the 5 years you're working for this company, were you considering working for yourself, like creating your own freelance lane?
Yeah. And that's something I'd been doing the whole time while I was working in Toronto and San Francisco.
Really?
I was making projects for friends. I did a few music videos for some friends, and kind of experienced some success online with those. So I did one like right out of college. I did one in my bedroom in Toronto, like an animated project. Yeah.
For who was the artist?
My friend, his name's 𝐅𝐿𝐋𝐋𝐿, and just like a
Independent artist.
Yeah. It was like a rotating earth stop motion with like a bunch of characters telling like the history of time.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen this.
And that was a great experience. I put it online as, you know, like his name, the name of the song.
Right.
And like one of the band members like uploaded it to YouTube and just called it like stop motion history of the world. And it pulled in like hundreds of thousands of views. And I was like, okay, like he branded it in a different way. Like it's so dependent on like how you pitch the project to the internet. So there's a lot to learn from that. And I was kind of just starting to like dabble in Reddit.
Okay.
And like how to like, you know, how do you self-promote on Reddit?
Right, yeah.
Without self-promoting.
Right, yeah. Like, don't.
Yeah. And I remember like trying to get that music video to take off on Reddit. And it like didn't quite work. And I was like, oh, I made that film in college. Why don't I try to put that on Reddit? So I uploaded, or like I put my stop motion thesis film on Reddit, and I titled it like, oh, I spent a year making this like stop motion, like, and I, you know, pitched how hard I worked on it. And it took off on Reddit and brought in like hundreds of thousands of views on Vimeo. So yeah, as far back as like 2010, 2011, I've really been fine tuning how to present a video online to make sure it takes off or is successful.
So at what point did you start working with brands? Because I imagine you didn't have a lot of time during the 5-year stint working on film.
The brand stuff is pretty recent. I didn't really take the internet stuff seriously until like the end days of Vine.
Right.
Like once we all saw people on Vine making tons of money, you know, pitching products.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that's a real thing now.
Totally.
So I was like dabbling into the Vine stuff, and then maybe only the last like 3 or 4 years I started doing like the product based stuff.
Right.
The advertising.
So Vine happens, and at this time, are you still with that company?
Yeah.
So did you start messing with it at all, creating for Vine at all? Or
yeah, that's what I was doing on like weekends and nights when I was getting
free
home.
time.
Yeah.
So are you exhausted? And also, how does your girl handle this? I'm assuming you work long days at the office, come home, you want to just grind harder.
She's super happy that it's like a 9 to 5 now and not at nights and weekends. Yeah.
Your current schedule is set up this way.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. That's a hard discipline, you know?
Yeah. But I've always been like that. Like I'll just work endlessly until I'm told to stop.
Yeah, I believe it. I know. And it's like you just want to see the end product, especially in some of these things that could take like 24 hours. You should split into 2, but you just want to knock it out in one whole session.
Yeah.
So you came onto Vine, started creating there. Did you see success?
Yeah, I did one. It was like this teenage wizard bit that I did, where like a wizard was making his bed.
Yeah.
And he's like sassy about it and like being lazy about it. And I did visual effects to like have the bed make itself up magically. And that one took off.
Because the beauty of it is everyone's resharing this. Like, that's what's so cool about Vine.
It's getting amplified. Yeah. And so that one took off quite a bit. It was all over like Reddit and the internet. Like news sites were sharing it.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. And it like, you know, it took me a couple hours to make in my apartment. I was like, so that contrast between, you know, day job is 2 years working endlessly. Yeah. And then eventually the movie comes out versus like something I make in a few hours and the whole internet sees it.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching it.
It's so satisfying. Like, yeah, satisfying contrast.
As you start doing that, does that pique your interest to kind of like leave the company you were working with?
Maybe not at that point. Well,
really?
The seeds were probably planted.
Yeah.
But never did I think I could like, you know, quit the job and do it full time.
Just because you hadn't made any income?
Yeah, no income, no audience.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't really start getting into Instagram until like the end of 2016 or something like that.
Okay, so it's a couple of years.
Yeah.
So Vine starts to die out. A lot of followers at that point?
9,000 or something.
Really? That's it? Even though it went super wild like that?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I think at the time, like some of the content, I just saw Complex posted you yesterday.
Oh, cool.
The ball thing. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, tight.
Because that was crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So sick.
It's been really good for growth over the last 2 days.
Yeah, believe that. Yeah, well, I saw them, like, they reposted it, and the what is it, like the mirage of you holding a ball?
Yeah, the ping pong ball.
Yeah, ping pong ball, and then you pull it back and
yeah, that was a huge one.
Yeah, and people, you shared that out, and I feel like that content was like what Zach King?
Yeah.
Zach King and VFX. There was like 2 dudes that were on Vine that would run it like that, where they would make content in that vein, and it was always these like little camera tricks, and that stuff kills the internet. People love seeing that, and you do it so well, and your personality is really funny because you just seem so like, oop, it happened.
Yeah, I very much film it like dude in his living room. Like I don't want it to look professional, really.
Right.
I want it to look like I just put my phone up and made something quick. Yeah.
It's so good. But so, okay, cool. So Vine, whatever, doesn't really pop off for you, like everyone else was.
Yeah.
And
But I did get a few deals on Vine.
Did you?
Yeah, some small stuff. Yeah.
What was like one of your first deals that you got?
Oh, there was like a Hulu show I did something for.
Really?
Yeah. They wanted some like magic stuff, and then I did some stuff with right before Vine shut down. I did stuff with Microsoft for their HoloLens.
Oh, that's cool.
Thing, yeah.
So that's for you to create and put on Vine?
Yeah.
To just as a brand deal?
Yeah.
Was that the money at the time like minute?
Yeah. I think the Microsoft thing was free.
Really?
They gave me the
thing,
the HoloLens thing, which was pretty sweet. And they like flew me out to LA for a day. Yeah.
Did that start to pique your interest?
Oh yeah.
Like, shit.
Yeah. Because I was saying to my wife, like, oh, you know what's happening. At least I'm getting free stuff now.
Yeah, exactly. But that does pique an interest, and then you take it from there to what platform? You know, as you continue to work on the films. Are the films coming out at this time too?
Yeah.
So yay.
Yeah.
They're coming out. That's great.
Yeah. So I worked on the Box Trolls, Kubo and the Two Strings, and then Missing Link.
And how are they doing? Like as they came out, are you super proud? And
they're great films. Like box office were okay.
Okay.
Not like $1 billion films.
Yeah. But still, I mean, they released, and it's a similar feeling that's out to the public.
Yeah, like those films are super proud to work on. Like they're very artistic. They're not like, it's not stupid fart jokes.
Right. So it comes out, and then as that progresses, you continue to do it. Are you looking like in your mindset? Are you thinking, I just want to continue to do features? Or are you starting to feel like, oh, cool, I got a couple free things, and there's the internet, and people are starting to make these platforms. I should go that way.
Yeah, always in the back of my head, I was like, it'd be great to do whatever I want all day and make my own videos. And then, so I just kept building an audience. And then, about the end of 2016, I started taking Instagram pretty seriously and using my, kind of stop motion status to build an audience. So I was sharing a lot of behind the scenes stuff from those movies.
Right.
And essentially writing blog posts on Instagram, like telling people how I was approaching animating and all that. So a lot of stop motion animators were looking up to that and getting a lot of info from me. So
you feel like that was kind of your first audience was stop motion animators?
Yeah, that was the play, was to be an expert.
Right.
To present myself on Instagram as a stop motion expert that you could get information from.
So, some of the strategy is blog posting, almost like creating in-depth descriptions.
Yeah. Every post I was writing the most you could put in the description.
Were you sharing the behind, I know how you'll do split screens and things like that, but were you sharing that too?
Yeah. It was stuff of me, there's been a popular one, I animated this dragon creature.
It's insane.
On Kubo. So that shot of me, the time-lapsing of me animating, people really like that. That was 12 frames a day for that thing. Half a second in a day.
Oh my God. It's so intense.
Yeah.
That's so intense. And do you see instant growth from it when you start sharing this out, or were you trying to get featured on pages, other Instagram pages?
I was trying to get a lot of features. The growth was, I don't remember what really made it take off. There's been some big shares throughout my Instagram career.
Right. Does it feel weird saying that, coming from such a traditional background, then you transition to this full digital lane?
Yeah. I still don't know how to like describe what I do.
Right.
Yeah, the audience came pretty quick, like with a few thousand here and there, and then there were some like shares on 9gag and stuff where it brought in like tens of thousands.
And then how are you starting to leverage this as it grows?
I'm not sure. Like I just kept at it.
But you're still working your full-time job.
Yeah. Still working the full-time job. So they overlapped for a good couple years. And then, I got some good brand deals. And then as I was wrapping up a movie in Portland, my wife and I decided, okay, if we, I can only work so hard at the day job and then the hours after work and the weekend doing the Instagram stuff. Like if I want to make it happen on Instagram, I have to dive in full time.
Right.
So we kind of like hatched a plan to like wrap the movie in Portland, move our life back to Toronto, and see if I can do it full time. Yeah. So I got back in Toronto like March of 2018.
Right.
And then about September, October, I was like, I'm failing at this. Like no one's coming to me. I'd done a few projects with brands, but not making enough.
Yeah.
And I was like ready to quit. I was Googling like what other careers
oh no
I could do.
Oh God.
And then all of a sudden, like October, November of last year, like it just started flooding in, and I did like 8 or 9 brand deals within like a few months. Like right after that low point, and I was putting out these videos and starting to really understand how to present them, what works to like just the text you put on it to pitch it. The title you give it. So it's been like 10 years of experimenting and figuring out what works.
Hey guys, thank you for checking out this highlight. I just wanted to let you know that the entire episode is available. Just click the link in the description below. We're also available on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify and pretty much every other platform you could ever think of that has podcasts. Make sure to subscribe to this channel though, because we drop new videos every single week. They're all flame. Trust me, if you're a creator, you're gonna want to subscribe to us. All right, we'll see you guys soon.